So you want to improve your bench press. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I put 45 pounds on my bench press in just 4 months. I know what you may be thinking. This must be newbie gains. But in fact, I was already my 4th year of bodybuilding, and I was able to make all this improvement by just training more focused and adding a few tips that I'm going to be talking about today. So you can see my weight before and after, and it also had a very big impact on my physique, as you can see from the photos. So in this video today, we're going to be going over technique, the program I was kind of following, and very importantly, nutrition. And I'm going to finish off with some extra tips that you guys should be implementing. So let's just get into it. As for technique, there is a lot of different ways people will tell you how you're supposed to bench. I'm going to tell you the basic principles, and you can kind of fill in the blanks from there yourself. So the basic principles I would say is having a retracted and depressed scapula. You can see what that looks like on screen. Keeping your eyes under the bar when you start. Your feet planted with tension in your legs. That's the leg drive people are always talking about. You should have a comfortable width grip, and that's very different for every person, so kind of play around with what feels best for you. You should cork your hands to tighten it, and this could easily give you a couple pounds right away if you've never done this before. You should have a slight arch in your back. Once again, this varies a lot between people, but kind of retract your scapula, and that's going to give you a natural arch, and then you can go from there as you get more and more advanced. You want to brace your core and take a deep breath. People will tell you all sorts of different breathing techniques, but the idea is you're breathing in and keeping the tension in your belly, taking a full breath into your belly. Next tip is to keep your elbows at a 45-degree angle. You're going to tap the bar to your chest and explode. You can think about bending the bar around your back on the way down, and when you tap your chest, you're exploding up. You're not going to bounce it. This is really going to increase your chance of injury. And the bar path, it should be coming down to the bottom of your chest by your nipple line and then coming back up over your shoulders. So it's not straight up and down, it's a slight diagonal. Just an extra point to add for the leg drive. I feel like there's a big misconception where a lot of people try pushing up, but in reality, you're pushing back. You should be pushing so that the weight is coming all towards your shoulders and not so much up on your feet. So you're not pushing up, your hips aren't coming up. You should be thinking of pushing your hips back towards your shoulders. It's really important that you get your set technique and you do it the same every single time you do your bench press. This is because it does something called neural adaptation into your muscles. Essentially, your muscles get really good at firing in a very specific pathway. On top of the active muscles getting better at firing, your antagonist muscles also have less co-activation. So those are the muscles that would be holding you back from exploding on your bench press. Things like your biceps, their activation is going to decrease. So this is what happens with newbie gains. You're not actually making a lot of strength gains in like your first couple months. When you're going up 5-10 pounds each week, it's not actually that you're getting that much stronger. It's that your neurons are adapting and you're getting better at sending those firing signals. So when you lock in your technique and do it the same every single time, it's going to have the same effect. Now, as for the program itself, I'd recommend breaking up your training into 3-month blocks, where you're going for the PR attempt at the end of every 3 months. Each week, I do 3 chest workouts, 2 of which were heavier training days, and 1 which was lighter, just kind of to get the reps, get the technique down pat. Now, for each workout, I think it's really important you do a complete comprehensive warm-up. This is really underrated, but when you're pushing this heavy weight, it's really easy to get injury, and that's the last thing you want when you're trying to improve quickly. So I would do a cardio session just to start, like 5 minutes, just to get warm, get the blood flowing, a little sweat on, and then I would move into a chest stretch, warm up your shoulders with some external rotations, do a lower back stretch, groin stretch. This one's really slept on, but when you're pushing with your legs and doing that leg drive, it's really easy to cramp up in your groin and just like lose mobility there. So I would make sure to stretch that, and then something for your triceps as well. Now for each chest day, I would do a lot of flat bench. So I do 5 sets of flat bench press. So on the heavy days, I would be doing around 4 reps, so fairly heavy. And I would be alternating between doing pause reps and sometimes close grips. I wasn't too big of a fan of the close grip, but I would do a lot of pause reps, and I think those really helped improve my bench. For a pause rep, it's pretty simple. You're just gonna keep your perfect form and hold for 2 seconds at the bottom of the lift before pushing and exploding, really focusing on that explosion, and that's gonna help you get out of that stuck point that a lot of lifters have. So as you move closer to your PR attempt over the 3 months, I would kind of be working my way down on the heavy days a little bit lower. So I'm set, like I said, I'd be around 4 reps per workout. So as I get closer, I'd be doing 3 reps per set, and then 2 reps per set, and then leading up to the last week, just doing some easy singles, getting you ready, getting your neurons ready to fire under a lot of load and really do well at that PR attempt, because you don't want to be getting into your attempt and you haven't done any singles, you're not used to that high load. So kind of just working your way down, getting your body ready so that you're good to go when it's time on the PR attempt day. Now, as for non-flat bench exercises that I also did, I think the most important one I did in addition was weighted dips. I never really done weighted dips before this 4-month training block, but I think it's one of the biggest factors that contributed to this weight gain. Just adding about 5 pounds every time I was doing the dips, I felt my strength going up really quickly, and it was definitely translating to my bench press as well. In addition to the dips, I also did military press. I know a lot of bodybuilders aren't a huge fan of this one because it works your anterior delt and is not really good for like aesthetics, but it's a really good exercise for power building and bench press. And of course, for the triceps, I'd recommend push downs. They're very basic, but there's not many options for triceps and they do a great job. And of course, you're gonna be following basic progressive overloading. You're gonna be adding 5 pounds every time it starts to feel too easy, doing your 4 reps and just increasing your weight naturally as you would for any other exercise. Now we're gonna be moving on to nutrition. And I think this is what separates a good lifter from a great one. This is definitely the area of my game that was lacking the most coming into this and what was kind of holding me back in my years prior, preventing me from making this massive amounts of gains. So for food, if you're someone with a high metabolism, it really has to become your full-time job to get all the calories in to grow your body. During this time where I improved my bench press by 45 pounds, I also probably put on about 10 pounds of muscle, but also some fat as well. And you kind of need to do that if you want to improve quickly after your first couple of years of lifting. First couple of years, you can kind of just focus on the training and you're gonna be making gains. You're gonna be getting stronger, looking better. But beyond that, if you wanna improve at the same rate, if you wanna improve quickly like I did in 4 months, you really need to focus on the diet. So I would recommend doing this by putting on about 1 pound a week. And the best way to do this is just to track it on a nutrition app like MyFitnessPal. The free version is great and it's really gonna help you because a lot of people don't know how much they're eating and it's just gonna keep you accountable. There's no way you can not put on 1 pound each week if you're tracking it correctly. Now, as for actual food tips themselves, just focus on high protein, getting even high carbs if you're trying to put on weight. Of course, if you're somebody that's already overweight, this is not something you're gonna wanna be doing. That would be my first priority, would be more so towards losing weight before you start doing this bench press mission. But like I said, high protein foods, getting those carbs in, you really just need calories if you're someone with a high metabolism like me to be putting on the weight. I strongly recommend protein powder. You can have 3 shakes a day, as many shakes as you need a day to be getting your protein in and be putting on the weight. I'd also highly recommend having some sort of Greek yogurt before bed. This has casein protein in it and it is slow release kind of protein, so that means you're gonna be getting more anabolic stimulus over the course of the night. So now for some extra tips that are really helpful that people don't often talk about. The first one I want to say is mindset is really important. You have to believe that you can put on this weight. I think going in, I didn't really have the belief that I could, but really anyone can do it. I don't think I'm special in any way. And your mind's really powerful. If you believe you can do something, your body will rise to the occasion. So mindset, super important, you can do it. The second one I'd add in is that stretching mobility is really gonna be helpful. When you're putting on all this size and doing such high volume, such high load on your muscles, they're gonna get really stiff and it's gonna feel awkward doing movements, even just like doing daily activity tasks. I'd highly recommend doing a lot of stretching and mobility for your chest, for your back, for full body, even your legs from doing leg drive. It's gonna get really stiff and it's gonna help your performance on the bench press, and it's also going to reduce injury. So definitely follow some sort of stretching routine, just 10 minutes a day even. It's gonna make a big difference. And the final tip I'll add is when trying to improve your strength in the bench press, or any movement in general, you should be doing it, or you could be doing it in blocks. it's not really a race. You don't have to reach your goal, 315, 405, whatever your goal is, pounds right away. You could just train really hard for 4 months of the year, and you're going to be making great gains. In fact, I'd rather train hard for 4 months, really focus tracking my food, than a full year of just mediocre effort. For myself, I only track my food for the 4 months from October to February, when I'm really focusing on improving my bench press. And the rest of the year, I can take it a bit easier, give my body a break, focus on cardio and my other interests. And it allows me to have a balance. And also, when it's go time for those 4 months. I'm putting on the weight, making sure I'm putting on a pound each week, tracking my calories, and the improvement is great. And I think it's faster than it would be if I was just mediocrely training for the full year. So that's going to do it for the video. We went over technique, the program, and nutrition today, as well as some extra tips. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a very brief overview of the kind of training you could be doing to improve your bench press quickly. I could maybe do a more detailed video in the future showing exercises more clearly, but I just wanted to get out this general overview. And to be honest, this is all you really need. You can pick up lots of extra tidbits, information, watching videos, but if you follow these basics, your bench press will improve. So please leave any comments and questions you have below, and I'll try and get back to you. And yeah, have a great day.